What's going on YouTube? Darksword255 here, where the numbers may be randomly generated, but the content itself is not. And I have a monumentous poll that I have gotten on my friend Grimm's account. If you guys have been watching the channel for any length of time, he has not gotten a single copy of one of these rares. And let me tell you guys, if you get this rare, make sure you do not use it as food. It has unlocked a huge and an extremely important dungeon within the game, guys. Now, with this champion being unlocked, again, you know, it's a rare champion, and you absolutely, in my opinion, really absolutely need this rare to progress in this very important dungeon. And let's go ahead, guys, and I'm going to quickly show you this one champion. To become part of my team, click the link in the description right now to get Elenaril for free, as well as 3 more amazing epic champions as you level up. Here's how you do it. Log out of Plarium Play on your PC and uninstall it. Click the link in the description, register with a brand new email, launch raid, and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champion. Don't miss out on this chance to get a free Elenaril along with 3 epics as you progress through raid. Click on my link right now and let's get started. Alrighty, folks, so as you can see here, it is the one and the only Gnarlhorn. Now, my friend's account, you know, my friend Grimm's account has been in desperate need of a Gnarlhorn. And now, obviously, you're looking at this and say, well, Dark Sword, it's a rare. Why is he so important? And this is what I'll tell you. Gnarlhorn is super important because there are only 2 champions in the game that you can use for this dungeon, from my knowledge. And it's a super important dungeon, and that is completing Shogun. Now, obviously, I've just been able, I actually haven't even used a team. I just threw a team together just to see how high I could get without, you know, things really mattering. But Gnarlhorn is extremely important for this team. Now, why is Gnarlhorn extremely important for this team? Well, it's either you have a Gnarlhorn or you use Tough. And that is because their A1 cannot weak hit. It is extremely important that the person's A1 does not weak hit, because if they do weak hit, then it stacks up the damage from the Shogun over here. Now, the Shogun will put a guaranteed enfeeble debuff on the champion with the highest crit damage. So you put your Gnarlhorn with the highest crit damage and you make him the lead, so he is focused. And the team is pretty simple, guys. I'm gonna go ahead. We're going to quickly build a team. I'm going to showcase basically climbing the last couple stages, because it's important when you're making this team and you're going through it. You cannot necessarily full auto all the way to 25 because the team is tuned to stage 25. So a little bit of it moving through the stages, you'll have to hand do some of the battles until you get to 25. And then at 25, it should be pretty straightforward. So first, guys, let me build the team. I'll go through how I have everybody built, and then we'll jump into it from there. Alrighty, guys, so I have the team built. I want to quickly showcase why it's important to hand do these early stages and why it becomes quote unquote out of tune. So at the start of this battle, things will be working, but since your champions are again tuned for stage 25, this is what will happen. Your Mithrala, aka your cleanser, will cleanse basically a turn too early, like in the later part of the stage, and then your guys, all of your people will weak hit because they will have enfeeble on them, stacking out the enemy boss. So you just have to be careful when you're like climbing through these early stages. It is a little bit annoying that you have to kind of like hand do it, but you know, this is just how things really are going to have to go, really. There we go. So as you can see, she cleansed early. I mean, it ended up working out, right? But she, like, Mithrala will cleanse too early. Like right there, again, if I wasn't paying attention, and I was very lucky, I actually landed all my hits with Ninja here. So super important, guys, that you hand do it, because again, these are not these teams are not set to be tuned to automatically climb throughout the ranks. They're tuned for that team. So let me go ahead, guys, and we're going to go through the team that we have right here, all of the champions and speeds and such. Some of them are important, some of them are not. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So guys, we have Gnarlhorn built. We have him at 180 speed. You really want Gnarlhorn between either 177 to 181. I would probably aim for the top end being 180. You want him also to have the highest crit damage. Everything else doesn't matter. You know, nothing else really matters. You just want his crit damage to be higher than whoever your damage dealers are, so he is going to be focused. But this speed, 177 to 180, is super, super important. Jumping over to the next piece of the puzzle, guys, your cleanser, aka I'm using Mithrala because she's a free champion that you get. I have a 283 speed. You need your cleanser to be at 283 plus speed, guys. Anything faster is okay, but anything slower than 283, you will not be in sync. You will not be able to cleanse the buffs at the right time at stage 25. And then obviously, like, you know, with Mithrala, you want to have high accuracy because the higher the accuracy, the higher resistance. Just a little bit of a trade-off. Now, moving on to Paragon, he is basically there's 3 pieces to this team. He is the last important piece on the team. Now, he is at 179 speed. You basically want him to go slower than the Shogun so he can basically in perpetuity keep the unkillable buff on Gnarlhorn, and that's really what we're using. Paragon, he's a very cheap champion that puts unkillable down for, you know, 2 turns. So very easy and accessible champion. Nothing else really matters in his build. You know, obviously don't have high crit damage. You want him to be between, like I said, that 177 to it's like 180 speed, very similar to Gnarlhorn. Again, as long as you're slower than the Shogun, you should be fine. Now, normally you could use any damage dealers here. The reason that I am using Lady Mikage and Ninja is because Lady Mikage helps Ninja get extra hits in when she does her basic attack. Now, on average, you really want your damage dealers to be around, you know, I have mine at like 265 plus. You know, the faster the better. Obviously you want to be doing more damage. The lower end is like 240. So now even like looking at Ninja here, you would say, wow, he's a little bit too slow. But the rate where your damage dealer goes in this using, you know, Lady Mikage and Ninja, it's okay. It's okay. I have built this team using 2 cold hearts, and I've had both of my cold hearts at 260 speed, and it has worked beautifully. So instead of having Ninja and Lady Mikage, you have 2 cold hearts. I have another video, guys, on my channel if you want to check that out. I go into a little bit more details with the basically full free rare team that you can build. Again, this was just, you know, a showcase of like how to build a Gnarlhorn team quickly, of course, and then how you can progress also quickly through the ranks to get to stage 25. So I'm going to go ahead and get to stage 25, guys, and I'll do a run at stage 25 to show you that the team works. Alrighty, guys, I got everything set up right here. I want to go through how a run shall look. Now, there are a lot of different caveats with this team that I need to bring up after this run is over. Very, very important information. Actually, the reason why this team works with Lady Mikage, it's safer and more efficient to not use Lady Mikage if you do not have these caveats. So again, it's really important to bring them up here. So what's really important is see this bar right here. If this goes above 20, the Shogun will hit through unkillable and kill Gnarlhorn. So the positives of this, when ready, boom. When Paragon attacks, he has Phantom Touch, and he really reduces that. Like, I think this is the shield. So and we're keeping that shield low. Like, right, we want that shield to be under 20. And again, this team is very hit or miss. And again, because of really the important people on this team that do not have Phantom Touch. And when I say the most important people on the team, you really want to have Gnarlhorn with a blessing with Phantom Touch. It is very, very important that he has it or somebody else on your team has it because of how high this bar gets. And again, on the same token, my Lady Mikage, and I say this, Grimm's Lady Mikage is slightly faster than Mithrala in a perfect world. This team would be significantly safer if I lowered Lady Mikage's speed a little bit, just to go slower than Mithrala. So a couple things, guys. What I said previously is I ended up slowing down Mithrala to 280 speed. I found that her going 283 was just slightly too fast, that she would be basically cleansing all of the debuffs when there were no debuffs. So I ended up slowing her down to 280. Again, we're gonna go through, let's just quickly go through the team setup, guys, so you can do all the presets, and then like I said, I'll go into what's really important caveats with this team. Anyways, guys, so Gnarlhorn here, we have his A2 and A3 turned off. Mithrala, we want her to open up with her A1, turn off her A2, and have her A3 on basically on a delay. So after we want to prioritize this after the first turn, but basically, you know, we're delaying it. So the team is always going to be cleansing the debuffs. Lady Mikage, I have her metamorphic turned off and her snare turned off. We want her to be doing the Imperial Dance as well as the Shadow Lash, because Shadow Lash will have Ninja attacking. Ninja does his A2, then his A3. His A3 resets his A2, so it's on a 1-turn lower cooldown. And Paragon, we want him to open up and prioritize, obviously, his unkillable. He will put the unkillable on Gnarlhorn. Also turn off his A3. It doesn't matter. Now, guys, what is super important with this team, like I said, you really would like to have Gnarlhorn with Phantom Touch, since he's going to be attacking, obviously, faster than Paragon is attacking. And the reason we want him to have that is because if we get above that 20 shield threshold, like I said earlier, the Shogun will hit through unkillable and kill Gnarlhorn, and then you're kind of out of luck. So you got to make sure that Gnarlhorn has blessings and has Phantom Touch. Now, also another caveat, guys, I made a slight mistake. I forgot the Shogun. If you do not have more than 50,000 HP, I think it's really safer if you can get to 60. Get the 60. 54 is kind of on the cusp of not being enough HP. The Shogun hits pretty hard with it, that first initial hit. So you just basically want to and need to survive that first initial hit. So those are some important things, guys, when you're quickly going over this team. Again, check out my video going over the Shogun team that is using a bunch of rare champions. That team is a 100% safe and easy team to build. Doing the team like this is a little bit more risque, but it's a little bit faster using it, going this route. So you don't have to necessarily do it this way, but check out that Shogun video, guys. I hope you enjoyed and found this entertaining. I had a lot of fun building this team, and I'll see everybody in the next video.